Welcome to the Lean Out Your Business podcast, a show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs accelerate business growth and simplify success. I'm your host, Crista Grasso, and I've been working with businesses for more than 2 decades to help them lean out and optimize what's working while eliminating anything that's not adding value. So if you are ready to get more time back in your day, more profit in your business, and to do business differently, growing and scaling on your terms, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everyone, and happy spring. I don't know about you, but I am beyond excited that spring is finally here in the Northeast. It doesn't always feel like spring at this time of the year, but it's starting. Days are getting longer. Weather's getting nicer. So this is my happy time. I hope that you are equally as excited. And the reason I'm talking to you about spring is because spring is one of those seasons where everybody seems to be focused on spring cleaning, right? People usually coming out of winter, they're about to get outside more. They're ready to kind of purge and get rid of things. That fits so well with leaning out your business, which is all about getting really clear and focused on what matters most and eliminating anything that's unnecessary, right? You want to eliminate anything that's not adding value for your clients or profit for your business. And I feel like just like when you do spring cleaning in your home and you're throwing stuff out and you're creating space for new things and growth, you want to do the same in your business, and you want to be leaning out your business all the time. But spring is a great time to be focused on doing what I call a spring lean out. Usually I recommend people do lean outs on a pretty regular basis, but in the spring and the fall are especially great times to go in and focus and do the spring lean out. So there's so many different things that you can do when it comes to leaning out your business. And I certainly dive really deep into a lot of this in the one-day business intensives that I do, or in my Lean Out Accelerator, or even my private coaching. But there's one technique that no matter what I do, no matter how you work with me, no matter if you read my blog or attend my weekly live trainings in my Facebook group, there is something that you will hear me talk about all of the time, and it lends itself really well to leaning out. So today, that is what we are going to talk about, and it is a technique I developed called CHuCK. And really, if you think about growing in your business, a big part of that growth, just like when you do your spring cleaning and you're trying to make room for growth, right? You need to let go of what no longer serves you. So whatever is either no longer in alignment with where you are today, or no longer in alignment with whatever that next level is for both you as a business leader and as a thought leader, as well as for your business itself. What we want to do is we want to clear the way for you to be able to really grow and scale your business. And we want to help you create space to go out and actually achieve those big, bold goals that you have coming up for Q2 and throughout the rest of the year. CHuCK is a really simple way to help you get some momentum around it and get a head start on it. Let me walk you through what CHuCK is and how you can leverage this in your business. So CHuCK is an acronym, right? It's because we all need more acronyms, but it's a really easy to remember one. And so CHuCK stands for cut, hold, change, keep. So you can do this with the activities that you do on a day-to-day basis. You can do this with the offers that you have in your business. You can take a look at your calendar and make sure that the things that you're spending your time on, not just the activities that you're doing that are aligned with your goals, but everything that you're doing holistically in your business, right? That it makes sense and that you're really looking at which of these things should I actually be cutting, right? Which things are no longer adding value? Where do I need to lean out and actually cut some of this stuff out entirely? Or where do I need to put things on hold? They're either not important right now, meaning sure, there's something that may add value later, but right now they aren't my most important thing that I need to be focused my attention on, or it's not my most important offer that I need to be focused on promoting and selling right now. So you've got your cut, which is leaning things out entirely in your business. You've got your hold, which is leaning things out in the short term to give you some of that space back so that you're just focused on those things that actually matter most and are going to move the needle towards where you want to go the best. Next, you have things that you're going to change. So these are things that you look at and you say, you know what? I think this is important. I think this is something that I do want in my business. However, I'm not getting the optimal results from it that I want. It could be better. I could get better results. I could do it more efficiently. I could be more productive with it, right? Sometimes you're actually improving something. So from a value perspective for your clients, you're trying to improve it in such a way that you're making it a more valuable experience for your clients. If it's something internal, kind of more back office, it could be something you're making more valuable to yourself and for your team. You're making it work better. Making it work more optimally. So change can just be those small continuous improvements, those things that you're doing to just simply make things better, which is Kaizen, which we've talked about in one of our recent episodes. Sometimes the change is more necessary. It's not simply going in and improving upon something and making it better and doing those Kaizen type activities to the things that you're doing or to the offers that you're promoting. Sometimes it's really necessary. For example, maybe there is another algorithm change that comes out, let's say to Instagram, and Instagram is your primary social media channel. Well, it would be really important that you take a look at what you're doing on Instagram and say, what should we be doing differently? If I keep doing what I'm doing right now, is it still going to work? Or do I need to actually really make some big changes to this and reimagine things based on that change? Now, if you listen to the episode with Nicole D'Amato, she kind of talked about the tried and true things that you should be doing on Instagram. So the algorithm changes don't have much impact to you. But that being said, every time there is an algorithm change, there's usually some bit of change to what you're doing that you're usually at least considering, right? So that's an obvious example, but there's many other things that you may want to commit to change. So the things that go in your change bucket are the things that are valuable right now. It's not something on hold. It's something you should be focused on right now, but you know that there's opportunity to improve upon it, or there's necessity to improve upon it. And then finally, you've got your keep category. Your keep category is working. It's working as is, and it is not important for you to make any changes to it or address it right now. Doesn't mean that next time you do CHuCK, you might not throw it in the change category and look at ways to optimize it and make it better. But right now, in this next time period, so let's say it's a 90-day time period that you're doing this in, and you look at it and you say, you know what, right now, this is fine. This one I'm going to keep on doing. I'm getting great results from it. I'm going to focus my effort on the ones that I'm going to change. This is what CHuCK is going to give you. Now, there's a few different lenses that you're going to want to look at each of these things through to help you understand which things you can let go of and which category either your activities or your offers or the things that you're doing are going to fall into. So there's 4 in particular that I usually recommend. The first being return on investment, right? So if we just take activities as an example, are the things that you're doing, the things that you are investing your time, your money, and your mental energy into, are you actually seeing a return on that investment? Is it worth it, right? And in some cases, it might not be at all. You might say, you know what, I'm working really hard on this. And for the effort that I'm putting in, I am not getting back what I expect. And so that's going to have to be a decision where you're going to look at it and say, you know what, I just need to accept that this is not something that's in alignment with my business or my target market. And I'm going to let it go. I'm going to cut it. Or I'm going to put this on hold right now. I'll revisit it at a later point in time and see if it makes sense. But right now I'm going to put it on hold because I want to really double down this other thing. Or maybe you say, I'm just going to change it, right? I'm going to focus on what I can do to improve upon it to give myself a better return on that investment that I'm putting out. So that's the first one, is ROI. The second one is alignment. And this is really important. And an upcoming episode, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a little bit more of the technique that I recommend that people use to create a next level vision. But I think it's really important that you have a next level vision in your business. So when you think about the vision that you do have for your business, whether it's your long-term vision, so something that maybe is several years out, your short-term vision, something that's really more in the next year, as well as those near-term goals that you have, so your upcoming 90-day goals. When you think about the vision and goal combined, so you're looking both long-term directionally where you want to go and where you want to take the business and yourself and where your customers are going to be, as well as the short-term focus of what you've deemed important right now with those near-term goals, how aligned are the things that you're doing? What I usually find from people is they're not very aligned at all. They're working really hard. They're doing a whole lot of things, and they're doing them because they feel like they should. They're doing them because they always did them, and they're a little scared to stop doing them because they're not quite sure what's going to happen if they stop doing them. So they just keep doing all the things. And on top of it, they're adding new things to do for whatever goals they've set for this particular 90 days. So it ends up being additive and they just end up doing more and more and more. Where I think you really need to take an honest look at all of the things that you're doing and say, are they in alignment directionally with where I want to take my company? Does this even make sense for me to be doing anymore? And if the answer is, yeah, it does make sense, then the next layer and the next question on that is it aligned with this next 90 days? Like, is this something I need to be doing right now? Or is it something that I need to put on hold right now and I will come back to when the time is right? And so you have to kind of do that aligned analysis through both lenses. The directional correctness from an alignment perspective, long term, is it aligned with your next level, as well as the short term? Is it something that you need to be focused on right now? Usually that's the one, the alignment one is the one where people get the most time back in their day the quickest, because it's pretty eye-opening if you're really honest with what you're doing and you really look at it, that you will find that you have things that you're spending time on, or even some of your offers that just simply are no longer in alignment. Now, the next piece of this is fulfillment, right? Is this something you actually enjoy doing? Is this something that you want to have in your business? As we've talked about many times over, there are a lot of different ways that you can achieve success in your business. So if you're doing something and you're doing it over and over and over again, and it's not fulfilling to you, it's something that you're actually dreading and you really don't want to be doing, then why are you doing it, right? And so the first thing that you would look at is say, is it necessary, right? Is it adding value to the business? If the answer is yes, it makes sense for you to be doing, then find a way to automate it or delegate it, right? Find a way to get it off your plate. If the answer is no, then that is a great opportunity to let it go. So take a look at that from a fulfillment perspective, because you should really be enjoying what you're doing in your business. It's your business. You have control over what you choose to invest your time, money, and energy in. So you might as well put that on the things that actually make sense for your customers, the things that actually drive profit for your business, and the things that are actually fulfilling for you. They align with your passion and the reason why you actually have your business in the first place. I think that's so important. And then finally, this one's really important as well to think about, and this is investment. And I don't mean financials when I say this. I mean something that's going to pay off and benefit your business in the future. So an example of this is SEO, right? Let's say that you are in your space as a thought leader and you're putting out a lot of SEO rich content. Well, you may not actually see a return on that in the near term, but fast forward 6 months, a year, a couple years, all of a sudden you might start seeing a return. Maybe you're starting to rank higher and higher on Google. You're becoming the go-to for that thing, right? And so sometimes you've got to be patient and you've really got to look and say, all right, I'm not seeing an immediate return on investment, but I know this is the right thing. And I'm making that investment in the future. I know this makes sense to keep doing. And so ROI is a little bit of a balance between things that you are at a place where you expect to see a return right now and things that are an investment where you're committing to doing them right now, knowing that they are going to give you some sort of return in the future. So again, those 4 different facets that you want to run things through are return on investment, alignment, fulfillment, and investment. So those are your 4 categories that you want to be considering. Ultimately, you want to put those into CHuCK, which is cut, hold, change, and keep. And so again, this is a really simple technique. I actually have a free template that you can print out. If you're not already a member of my Facebook group, you can just go to leanoutmethod.com/group and it'll take you there, or you can search for Lean Out Circle on Facebook. But when you're there inside the group, I have actually a lot of really amazing free trainings and guides. So if you're not in the group yet, you should be in the group. But when you're in there, you'll find that there's a printable template for CHuCK. Really simple. And it's something that I recommend people do minimally every 30 days. And I recommend you do it more deeply every 90 days. So 30 days, you can do it at a bit more of a surface level with your activities. Every 90 days, I recommend that you go deeper and you do start to look at your offers and you start to look more holistically across your business. Can also be really helpful to have your team do CHuCK as well as part of our quarterly planning internally within Lean Out Method, as well as within my other business within Crista Grasso. CHuCK is a regular activity. We do this as part of our 90-day planning because when you think about your team, they've all got different areas of focus. And so it's really important to me for the person who's doing social media, what's working, right? Sometimes when you're talking about CHuCK, you're not talking about something as broad as is Instagram working. It might be, are we getting good enough traction from our stories? We're posting to the feed 3 times per week. Is that the right number of times that we should be posting? What kind of engagement are we getting? What can we do to increase our engagement? Should we be doing IGTV? So when you think about CHuCK, it's not just necessarily the big things that you're doing. You can get really granular within it as well and start to break those items down. And that's where I think it becomes super powerful. We circle back to where we started with all of this. Our goal is to lean out our business, right? So figure out and focus on what matters most right now and eliminate anything that is not adding value to your clients and profit to your business. And CHuCK is one of the ways that you can do that in a really simple way to go ahead and identify which things you can fully cut, or at least which things you can put on hold, which will give you time back in your day. And it will help you create that space for whatever your big, bold goals are for the next quarter and for the rest of the year. So I hope you really enjoyed the CHuCK technique. Again, if you head out to the Facebook group, it's leanoutmethod.com/group. You can go ahead and print out the actual template for this that you can leverage. You can also find it in the Lean Out Planner to do every single 30 days. So with that, I hope you have an amazing early spring, and I will see you again next week. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. I hope you got a lot of value and actionable insights from today's show and would love if you take a moment to leave us a review. If you have any questions on today's episode or on how to lean out your business, join us over in our private Facebook community where every week we do live training and Q&A, and I'd love to have you be part of the conversation. Head to leanoutmethod.com/group to join us. And before you go, be sure to subscribe to the show so you're the first to know when we release a new episode. We'll see you next week.